Hi everyone, a very good morning. Me Kawaljit Kaur Soni, representing today as a president of Global Association of Forensic Accountant, in short GAFA. Today we are here with one of our expert. She will be shedding light on her experience and journey in terms of insurance sector. So the GAFA has introduced the podcast series, and I'm honored to have our first guest, Miss Anupam Tyagi, today with us. If I say Anupam is the one who is having very rich experience in insurance sector, and her wealth of expertise is something where she will be sharing with all of us today. Her journey is absolutely tremendous. We can all learn a lot from her. She started her career as a manager in LIC with her dedication, hard work, and a very, very deep knowledge of insurance sector. She has reached to the position of senior vice president in Aviva. I'm very excited and thrilled to have Anupam with us today. And I'm sure this interaction will not just be very, very insightful for me, it will be insightful for all our audience today. So, welcome, Ms. Anupam Tyagi.
Hi, thank you, Kamaljeet and Gafa, for inviting me to this podcast. And very good morning to all our listeners.
So, Anupam, today I would like to interact with you, understand your journey in terms of insurance. But before that, I would like to have your introduction from your own mouth. I would like to understand how did you start your career in insurance sector? Were you always fascinated with insurance industry, or something where you one day decide to get yourself into this profession and started your journey in insurance sector? How did it happen?
Yeah, so I can say it was not planned at all, and my foray in insurance sector as such was accidental. So after completing my masters, I started giving competitive exams, as was the norms that those days. So I was selected as AO in Life Insurance Corporation of India. You can consider this role as a management trainee. I started my journey in branch and started handling claims. Thus, I started my journey of uncovering frauds and saving money for my company. Then, in multiple positions in branch divisional offices, zonal offices, I continued to handle claim-related investigations. In between, I was also part of HR team and handled employee-related fraud investigations. In my private sector journey as well, handled claims for almost 16 years. Was also responsible for new business and underwriting operations. And I was also complaint redressal officer for the company for 3 years. In that role as well, I handled complaint related investigation and in particular fraud complaints raised by the policyholders against our employees, sales employees. I was also part of POSH committees there, so was handled a few cases. In fact, presided multiple cases where employees had raised POSH-related complaints. So to summarize, I have almost 31 years of experience in handling external and internal fraud investigations.
This is just an amazing journey where many of us would have just entered into this profession, and I don't know how much we can learn from you with your experience. So, Nupam, you have spent good 31 years in insurance sector, uncovering a lot of frauds, internal and external. How did you find insurance industry different than other industries, especially when it comes to frauds?
See, as far as internal frauds and fraud investigation process is concerned, I'm saying the insurance sector is not much different from the other financial sectors. However, considering the nature of the product and the benefits in insurance sector, I will say insurance sector is more prone to frauds in comparison to other sectors. So, like the frauds obviously impacts companies' finances and reputation as well. And also the investigation, especially the external investigation in India, is extremely challenging. You all understand the nature and the status of our record keeping systems. I mean, it's very easy to manipulate your birth and death registers, especially in rural and semi-urban areas. So, basis our own experience, we have found, like in villages, Anganwadi workers register the death and birth in their registers only by pen and all that. So it's so easy to manipulate there. So I mean, it's extremely challenging. And unlike like general insurance, where at least you have certified and trained loss assessors and investigators, unfortunately for life and health investigations, there is no trained investigation agency in India. And apart from the public sector company, that is LIC, where investigations are being handled by their own employees, private insurance companies are dependent on external investigation agencies. So this is the typical different scenario as far as insurance sector is concerned in comparison to other financial sectors.
That's absolutely interesting to understand. In fact, what you just shared about Anganwadi is something which is eye-opening. I'm sure you have handled lots and lots of cases like this, be it internal or external. Any specific case which is still there in your mind, which you would like to share with all our audience today? Maybe we'll understand how frauds are coped. How did you handle that case? So, any experience you would like to share about a specific case?
Yeah, sure. As you have rightly said, all persons who have handled insurance claim investigation, be it death claim investigation or health, they can tell you thousands of stories of individual triggered frauds and syndicates operated frauds. I can share one example here. So one individual, 31-year-old, he purchased a 25 lakh insurance policy, online policy. That means there was no internal intermediary involved. So it was person directly purchased this policy from the insurance company. This person was from Lucknow. Within 3 months, we got the death claim intimation. So there were so many red flags. So very, very early death claim. And a 31-year-old, he was told to have had a heart attack and died at residence without any treatment. And there was so much escalation from the claimant. So from day one, she started writing mails and calling our call centers, escalating mails to our regulator. So that is again a very, very red flag. So when your claimant or the customer started you, but perceiving you daily, that means there is something fishy in that claim. So we entrusted the claim on to third-party investigator because we did not have any person in Lucknow to start this investigation, and came to know that no one in the neighborhood was aware of this family and of any death being happened in any neighborhood area. So it was very surprising because in India, at least if there is death in a family, at least the neighborhood should know.
Absolutely.
The doctor who certified that person has died, his clinic and residence was at least 10 kilometers away from the customer's residence. So, and through our investigation in the native place of that customer, we came to know that customer is actually alive and hiding in Nepal. So we were in fix because we did not have any means to go and do investigation like police and get hold of that person in Nepal. So ultimately, what we did, through our local branch resources, we got hold of the local counselor there, who actually has given a letter certifying that this so-and-so person has died in his locality. We shared the case facts with him. He was also convinced, and fortunately and luckily for us, he gave us another letter. That earlier letter given by him was on false pretext. Basis that letter, we could get the death certificate cancelled and get that claim rejected. So we also filed FIR in the police, but police being police, I mean, insurance is actually considered as a very soft fraud. So there is not too much follow from the police authorities as well. So this is one example where I can share you that how insurance company, so suppose that local counselor did not help us, then we had to pay that claim because we did not have any documentary evidence to prove that there was no, the customer's death has not happened because the doctor has given death certificate, municipal authority has given that certificate. So that was how we could at least save our money in that particular case.
This is scary. How frauds are being cooked. Imagine somebody has not just cooked a fake death. They have also moved to another country where knowing that jurisdictional issues can come. But I'm amazed how you handled this case, Anupam, and that's why you have reached to that level. Because I always believe that finding fraud means outsmarting the fraudster, and you did. So thank you for sharing this experience with us, Anupam. Now, at the same time, artificial intelligence is a buzzword today. Everybody's talking about AI, be it healthcare, be it defense, everywhere. In fact, we are using artificial intelligence quite a lot in fraud prevention. At the same time, fraudsters are also using AI for cooking the fraud. So how do you think the landscape of insurance industry will be changing with the use of AI, both in terms of how frauds can come to us and as well as how we can use AI in our support finding those cases?
Definitely, like all other aspects of our day-to-day working, AI is actually changing the way how we work and how we safeguard our companies. And fortunately for insurance, I think AI, and if I start with this data analytical tools, actually insurance companies have deployed and taken help of these data analytical tools and are successfully able to handle to an extent in identify red flag cases both at new business entry level and at claim stage. So company has started deploying these tools, I will say right from the 2015 and 16 onwards. And fortunately, our regulator is also very proactive in this particular area. And we have Insurance Information Bureau, who has collected the data from all insurance company and has provided access to the companies in limited access. But basis this tool, the companies are able to identify the pre-insurance history of that particular customer. IAB has also come out with a tool called Prism, which is able to, which basis the data, insurance data which it had, is we are able to identify red flag cases and accordingly take the right steps in accepting or declining that case. Insurance company has also started using AI in, I mean, they are using facial recognition tools at for doing KYC and for underwriting as well. Insurance companies have also have tie up with the like account aggregators, so that means they can verify the financial documents from their source itself. So I believe industry has already taken several steps, and in future data mining, AI, ML, these all are will be the buzzwords, and I'm sure no one has the choice not to adopt these technologies.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Now, after listening so much about fraud and insurance, I'm very curious to know about your personal journey as well. So, being into investigation, many a time I come across a question from, especially from young girls, as to, there are certain fields which seems to be more apt for male. Now, you are into this industry, which is hardcore into insurance as well as investigation. So, what piece of advice would you like to give it to our young audience, especially female, who may be planning to get into this profession, but would also have some kind of concerns in mind? Also, anything which you want to share, how they can balance both things together. Being a female, you have to definitely, manage both family as well as your workplace. So, what would you like to, tell our audience about it?
I think I can say word is open for everyone.
True.
So if I can say in my 31 years of working experience, I have not found any challenge for being a female. So when I was managing branch, I was the one who was like getting the branch logged and all that. So we never, but again, they had to also change. We should not quote ki we are female, we are mothers, so we have to go early and all that. So one has to learn the art of balancing. If it is like when you are in office, you had to work for office. But obviously, when you are in at home, you had to your hair certain. And male are nowadays, so male and female, they both have obligations at home as well. So fortunately for me, I have a very excellent family setup. I think that has actually has helped me a lot. And as far as like skills are concerned, I think female has a lot more advantage in terms of soft skills. In fact, I have been lucky in all my employee-related investigation, I can say. So there is not. I was just remembering and going back to old days. I did not remember a single case where employee has not actually confessed that okay they had committed this crime. So I think because you had to put the other person at ease because you are doing investigation, and especially for professionals and especially in financial sector, I mean it's very critical how to do your investigation. You are not police authorities. So I have seen one very bad example of investigation where like they just put hold that they called employees, they grabbed their mobile phones and they started interrogating like police officials. Fortunately, the norms were there, HR person was there. Actually, he was the one who interrupted that investigator and said, please, this is not how we do the investigation and all that. I also complained. I was not part of that investigation, but those were my employees. So I took the stand and all that. So, but again, training holds the key for everyone, be it male or female. But being female nowadays, there is no like boundary for you. So everything is yours. You just have to grab it and move ahead.
Absolutely. I fully agree. And I also think that, regardless of gender, you are in profession and you are professional. So, of course, I mean, we cannot say that everybody gets similar opportunity. Probably me, Anupam, we've been lucky to have, support at home as well. But all I can say from my side at this stage is if you want to do it, nobody and nothing can stop you. The gender is absolutely not a deterrent anywhere. Now, moving on to skill set, as you just mentioned that somebody should have right skill set in hand. So, what are few key skills which you think are required to be successful in this profession?
Yeah, sure. So as I've already explained and discussed that, unfortunately, especially for life and health, there is no, I will say, structured norm for investigators. So unfortunately, especially private companies have to rely on external agencies who are normally one-man shop. So they hire investigators who are just, I will say, average person, no, not professionally trained how to carry out a thorough investigation in a professional manner. Even in public sector, the employees who are doing investigation, they are not trained. They are just XYZ employee. So I mean, it's very, I'm not saying that investigation is being handled in very professional manner. So this is as far as the system is concerned. Fortunately, in some players have started creating their internal pool of investigators, which is doing very good. And this is my belief that all insurance companies should have the private pool of investigators who actually should be trained and who should be certified and to carry out these investigations. As far as the individual skill is considered, I think the critical thinking, good analytical skills, good information, how a life cycle of a insurance policy behaves, what are the steps and all that. Good coordination skills with your counterparts in the industry and the authorities like hospitals and police to get hold of the documents. These are the most skills. Then only an investigator will be able to crack a case and establish the fraud for the company.
Absolutely. Right skills are the key. If you know how to do things right, things are much easier and you get better results. So, as rightly mentioned, Anupam, uh, these skills are absolutely must. Now, in continuity of my last question, I would also like to understand, do you see any specific gaps in the current certifications which are available in this field? Do you also believe that candidates, when they join the company, especially as a fresher, or even if they are experienced, let's say up to 3 to 5 years of experience, do you see any gap in terms of having practical knowledge of handling the case? Can I say that current certifications do give them theoretical knowledge, however, lack some practical side? Am I right when I think so?
Yeah, you are absolutely right. Actually, the current certification course actually are giving you exposure to how investigation has to be done and actually is good as far as the employment opportunities are concerned. But as I said, like it's not customized. India is completely different from all developed and underdeveloping countries as well. I gave you one example of Anganwadi workers. In India, it's not uncommon to have a person to have two different IDs with two date of births. So this is there are certain geographical nuances which is happening in India. So these courses have to be customized to Indian conditions. Similarly, a practical how to handle a case, but that practical knowledge is also missing in the current certification courses. Here, I believe GAFA has to play a major role. And I believe the courses which I have seen you, I mean that AML course, cybersecurity, which are to be customized as per the Indian regulations and Indian conditions, will be very, very beneficial for the professional across industry. So I'm very optimistic about the GAFA courses here.
Thank you so much. So to give a specific hint to our audience, GAFA has launched our certification programs, which are designed for industry as well as for retail. We will come back and talk more about GAFA's offering. But one thing which is key for all our certification is it's not going to be just theoretical knowledge. It has to combine with practical side of knowledge, because that's exactly what is required in this field. You can't learn the driving just by reading the book. Unless and until you drive yourself, you would not know how to drive it. So that's exactly is our motto while we create the certification program for GAFA. Now, lastly, Anupam, though I'm really enjoying this session and I would really love to have you for a very long time, but I know you are pressed on time. So lastly, how do you think the future of insurance and future of fraud detection and prevention in insurance industry look like to you in India, outside India, and what one piece of advice you would like to give to our audience when it comes to having their career in this field? What would that be?
Okay, so as you have rightly mentioned that whatever technology interventions are happening, it's happening for everyone. So fraudsters are also aware about what is happening in the market. So insurance companies and investigators, they have also to be one step ahead of these fraudsters. So insurance company has to equip their employees with right kind of skills, right kind of tools. Similarly, an individual also, they had to continue their journey, learning journey through certifications. And of course, the practical experience will come when you will be on the job. But the courses like which GAFA is offering, having practical insights, will definitely going to help. I will say insurance companies have taken baby steps. They have already deployed good analytical tools. And the good news is that India is home to 100 plus insured tech companies. India is very lucrative market. So these insurtech companies are working with insurance companies in terms of developing the fraud mitigation tools, AI-based underwriting claims tools. So we are taking steps in the right direction. But as far as companies are concerned, the tone has to be set from the top. The company has to have a clear fraud mitigation strategy. They had to have fraud mitigation tool. They had to continuously train their employees. They had to create a pool, which this pool has to empower each and every employee, especially the frontline employees for that company. So that is a must for the companies. But I'm very optimistic, and I'm sure GAFA is going to partner insurance companies and other financial sector companies in this journey. And we will never be able to eradicate the fraud, but we had to take right steps, right? We had to equip ourselves with right skills so that at least we can take all possible steps to mitigate fraud from happening itself.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Anupam. As I said that frauds are not going anywhere. So I always believe fraud will never go out of fashion. But since frauds are not going anywhere, the demand for professionals in this field, in fin crime field, is not going anywhere. Thank you so much, Anupam, for being with us. It was lovely connecting with you. the session was not just insightful but very interesting. So thank you so much from my side, and all our audience would like to thank you. And that's all about the session. We will come back with another expert in our next podcast series. Till then, stay tuned with us. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you, Kaval. Bye.